hey folks, welcome back. Gardner here. Oh, the last day of 2025, and December 31st. So tomorrow is New Year's Day, a new year, 2026. So I just wanted to get on here and say thanks to everyone who has followed me and has watched my videos and threw me a like or a comment. I really appreciate it. I love making these videos, and if someone gets some entertainment or enjoyment or education maybe about gardening or mushrooms or landscaping, whatever wisdom I can impart, which is limited. But yeah, I just want to spend the next month or so, month and a half, just kind of keeping active, coming out to the park here and walking, and just try to keep myself from getting sluggish, and I just got to be ready. I got to be ready for springtime when springtime comes, because there's there's a lot of work to be done come springtime. We want to rest up, or we want to get trained up, so we can be as efficient as possible. And but anyway, I hope your year was good. I hope you spent lots of time in your garden, whether that's your garden at your home or you go out into nature and enjoy this big wide open garden. But I wanted to take a little walk around the garden this morning, bring you guys along and see what everything looks like in the middle of winter. And it doesn't look so great, of course. This is not the best time of year for the garden, except for in the snow. When we do get some snow, that can look really nice, especially if we've done a good job and we've planted things that were good for the winter, evergreens, plants and shrubs with berries for the winter. Some plants turn colors for the winter, like the red twig dogwood and the coral bark maple. There's some things that just turn beautiful color in the winter, and when we incorporate those into our gardens and landscapes, that's the key. We get to enjoy our landscapes even in the winter. Not just focused on all the flowering trees and shrubs, come springtime and in the summer. That's it's kind of easy to enjoy the garden those times of year. Everything is just looking beautiful and blooming, and so anyway, we just want to have a well-rounded garden that looks good, throughout the whole season. And but I wanted to take a little tour and see what it looks like now. And hopefully, I'm thinking in about a month and a half, come mid February at the latest, we'll get out there and do some cleanup, like we did last year. You got a lot of perennials that need to be cut back, and maybe some dormant pruning on some larger shrubs, and you know, clean up the trees a little bit and rake up all the leaves and debris and just get things cleaned up and tidy, ready for, you know, the beautiful spring to come. And I'm sure this year's going to be, you know, as gorgeous as ever, if not more so. And also another thing I like to do in the winter when things lose their leaves and, you know, you get a different look. You can go around the garden and you can kind of see, you know, some places where you want to maybe do a little renovation. You know, you want to add a plant here or there, you know, and now's a good time when those things stand out. And so just when I thought I didn't have room left in my garden for not a single other plant, I've walked around recently and I've discovered at least maybe 5, 6 different spots, 6 different new plants. But yeah, I've got some spots, you know, I want to get an emerald green arborvitae, you know, here along the fence. And I want to get another skip laurel evergreen to kind of fill up this here hole. And I may even want to put in the center here that coral bark maple that I was talking about. That just turns a brilliant red in the winter. Really beautiful. There's a little spot here where the limelight hydrangea, when it loses all of its leaves, it still has these beautiful seed heads, the panicles. And, you know, they turn brown for the winter, but they do look nice. They have winter interest. And, but as you can see, you know, the plant no longer provides any kind of screening or privacy. And so I'm thinking this year I'm going to put in another Nandina domestica, the upright Nandina with the beautiful red berries. They're just a fantastic plant. They grow in a kind of a narrow, upright shape, and they pretty much stay evergreen all year round. Towards the end of winter, they can look a little ratty sometimes. If we had a really brutal winter, they'll lose some leaves. But they have these beautiful red berries, and they last. They last almost all winter. And the birds don't seem to eat them. And so I love the Nandinas. So thinking about a Nandina up against the fence, right behind this limelight hydrangea. And another one over here, you know, kind of next to where my little fish pond is. The Nandina is like bulletproof. It's very tough, like sun or shade. So it will do very well here. Yeah, I think that would be nice. Oh, and this other little spot over here, over by the shed, I'm gonna put a green weeping Japanese maple. I've already got one underneath the willow tree on the other side of the yard. And that's where our little girl is resting. And so I'm gonna have one on this side of the yard. Of course, it'll start off small and then it'll have to grow. It's another tough plant, you know, that can handle shade and sun. You know, it's gonna like some sun, but it can handle some shade. And the beautiful green foliage, especially in the springtime, it's like a lime green, a real light green, beautiful. And so yeah, another Japanese maple. So we got the one out front, which is a red Japanese maple. We got Lily's little Japanese maple underneath the willow tree. And then now we'll have one here by the shed in the corner. And then the coral bark maple, if we get that, you know. So we'll have a nice assortment of Japanese maples, which are just a fantastic plant, especially in the fall. The fall color of the Japanese maples is exceptional. So they're really a year-round plant, even in the wintertime. Once they get older and you've pruned them, really architecturally, they provide, that architectural element. And it's a really fantastic plant. Just getting some ideas, and then hopefully we'll get the place cleaned up and eventually get some new plants installed. And then, eventually we'll be enjoying that beautiful explosion of colors and flowers in the springtime. I'm really looking forward to the wisteria I've got out front here. I had to prop it up with this 2x4, and it had fallen over, and it actually uprooted the rotting stump of the cherry tree that was there before, and so it kind of fell over. So we got it propped up and kind of wired up, so it's pretty stable now. And I'll have to do some late winter pruning on this. There's a lot of little suckers, and all around the top will have to be pruned back pretty hard. And then hopefully, if this year is a good year for wisteria, we'll get some beautiful blooms. We didn't get too much last year. Last year was not a great year for the wisteria to bloom. Not just my wisteria, but all around, different wisterias that I know of. They didn't bloom that well last year, for some weather reasons or whatever. The year before was a good year. That was a really good year. So I'm hoping that this year, this coming spring will be another good year for the wisteria, because that arguably, in my opinion, is the most elegant, most prestigious, I don't know, it's just the premier plant in a garden, the Japanese wisteria. It's just iconic, So I've got one, and mine here obviously is kind of freestanding and grown as a wisteria tree, is what I'm thinking, unless I eventually put up like some type of arbor for it to grow on top and support it. But for now, I'm just trying to make it into a freestanding wisteria tree, and it should work, at least for now. So anyway, that's the plans for 2026, to stay in the garden, in the outdoor nature garden, for sure, whether it's here on the nice walking path, park, or whether it's in the woods, looking for mushrooms. I love my mushrooms, and I'll be there. Or, of course, in my own garden here, which I do love to tend to and hang out in and enjoy. And so yeah, we're going to spend some time in the garden, taking care of the garden and enjoying the garden, and renovating the garden, improving the garden. I guess it's all about the garden for 2026. And I know some folks maybe get confused because they think garden and they think vegetables, and that's absolutely true. I would not argue with that. A garden, is a vegetable garden. A vegetable garden is a garden, and I would love to have that. I would love to have a nice big vegetable garden, but I don't have any place for it here. But an ornamental garden, which is more like a retreat or a sanctuary garden, something that you don't necessarily eat, but it nourishes you nevertheless. You know, just being able to walk through it and enjoy it throughout the year, throughout the different seasons, you know, watching the different plants and how they grow and respond to the different seasons, and you know how it ebbs and flows and all of that. I mean, it's just being outside in the fresh air and the sunshine and, you know, the oxygen and the birds. Oh my gosh. Oh, birds love gardens, I can tell you that. We've got lots of birds, and the sound of the birds, you know, is so relaxing. And seeing all the different birds, I get in this tiny little yard surrounded by houses and neighbors, but I get so many birds coming into my yard, and it's just a real treat. You know, that's nature. And so that's it, folks. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. 2025. Pretty much in the books. It's only the morning of December 31st, so we got a whole rest of the day left, you know, and into the evening. I mean, we should be up until at least midnight or 1 o'clock. You know, there's a lot of 2025 left. But we might miss a little bit of it and move right on to 2026. Try to make 2026 better than 2025. You know. And yeah, I'm sure there's lots of stuff to look forward to, and probably stuff that you would probably rather not look forward to, but gotta take the good with the bad and make the most of it. So, all right, folks, I'm done rambling, and I hope you have a good one. And yeah, we'll see you next year. And take care. We'll see you again. All right, bye-bye.